that fits the description of the Cinderella in this case. They finished 4th in the group stage, tied 3 ways with the teams that finished in 5th and 6th. They have, some would say, no right being here against Wildcard, but after their game the other day, my God, have they earned it. But what a twist in the tale, starting on attack on every map.
Yeah, I was thinking like, okay.
The worst thing is, this is even the case coming into Clubhouse in the 4th map. They chose to start an attack, and even worse, Wildcard in overtime chose to start an attack too. So clearly they're saying, if it gets to overtime, there is a problem. We've got to throw a spanner in the works.
To be honest, I get this. Like, if you're on the fence starting out and you're like, we're going to be drawing things up. We might need to change things up for overtime. So I get that. Well, that affair. But it is going to be 2 bans coming down. Oregon. See Thatcher, Capitower moved, and Amira as well. You've seen yesterday how troublesome Amira can be.
I'd love to see Knights ban something wacky in all of this, because they banned Jaeger the other day, if you recall. On their game on Clubhouse against Akami, they banned it away, and no doubt definitely led to a little bit of discomfort on the other side. But here, it's the more atypical ban of the pairing of Wamai and Jaeger. It's going to be the Wamai taken away.
I think the Wamai ban will really help you, especially in the bottom floor, if you want to take control of, for example, blue into elbow. Often a Wamai is playing there. Shield, tossing down all these magnets. Might not be the case now, of course, as he has been banned out, and that means Jaeger will be... Well, we'll have to choose carefully where these ADSs will be deployed. And Laundry Supply, first sight straight away.
No big surprise there as a first one. Clash going to get 6th picked in. We've seen a lot of teams doing a very aggressive hold. In fact, the other day, remember at a specific point on the broadcast, we were saying, oh, someone's outside the map. Guess who it is? Of course, it's Clash in construction, looking to gather some intel, play behind that shield, and ultimately be a bit of a nuisance. Imagine how it is to play against her.
I felt it. It's like I was watching that unfold. I'm like, no,
not like this.
What can you do against this? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Knights themselves are tweeting out. Here it is, grand finals time. We take on Wildcard for the top of Oceania soon, and need as much Knights Nation in the chat as we can get. I wonder if there's a good couple of emotes someone can drag up there, or, you know, the whole spam this X to help X or Y. That's the team in this case. What rhymes with Knights that you can spam?
A knight.
Yeah, is there an emote we can think of that like ties up with that?
I mean, often.
Not that spring to mind.
No, not spring to mind, but often we have something that completely doesn't even get close to rhyming, and that often gets like spammed out. So we might be able to get some creativity in there.
A small detail here in how they've opened up the supply wall. They are looking towards the Clash being able to step back through at full height. It's the same as when you're on attack with a Habana and a Monty. You have to commit all 3 at Skyros to a single wall if you want the Monty to be able to step through. And there we go, Pat unimpeded. He's going to step his way into Blue Bunker, and a hold will commence in towards the construction entry. And this looks to be for now where a few members of Knights are putting their time and attention. You can see Hayward heading towards Big Tower. So this looks very much to be a standard, a typical Northside take cap.
It definitely looks like, and I like I don't know if it's an adaptation, but often we see a shield there with some magnets or some ADSs, and now we just see the Clash playing there. So Wildcard obviously not too bothered with the current ban to come out, as Gio ready on the pillar and boiler, hoping to get into that first gunfight with Hayward. He's playing on the middle part of those staircases. Spots out a lot of the ADSs and a shield right there, so there's a lot of information they will have to work with. Is it going to be enough, though, as he is going to be going for a peek? It's a prone peek. That means the feet will show first. That's going to give the opportunity to Gio to get that first kill down, and that's the entry for Wildcard.
Little bit easy there for him, I guess, trying to kind of slither into position like a snake on those northern stairs. Not able to find the opening frag for himself, sadly, and that's a lot of pressure taken out of tower. Knowing that you found Hayward of all people to begin with, we speak about Ash a lot. Those 3 flash bangs plus the breaching charge is a big thing to lose early on. However, traded out a good 20 to 30 seconds later is going to be Gio falling down to one of those frag grenades, the many, or at least the 4, that we're seeing the Knights bringing on this attack.
They try to retake the control of boiler there, Des, but at that moment in time when there's 2 people watching across, there's someone on the staircase as well. It's basically a suicide mission, and that's indeed what happened there. Ethan was picked up as well, and that will leave Wildcard into a 3-4 situation.
Someone called a gas engineer, that's why they want control of that, but sadly there's an electrician in the name of Pat holding firm and saying, no visits today, we don't take these cold knockings on our door, please stay away. 45 seconds left in the round, and still yet to find themselves with a clean entry in towards the site. This looks like Boiler is going to be the big focus, with 3 of them currently held up in that area. One held a little bit closer down is the Maverick, I believe, of Strider. trying to get this wall open, trying to find a way inside, but there are just so many angles that you expose yourself to. The X-Car is being committed here onto the north wall, into supply itself. We've seen a few teams put focus in here, but there are so many angles set up, and this is all too easy. A shotgun to the face from Emerin will bring down Juicy. It's a 3 versus 3, and this is going to be a juicy end to the round, Hap. 15 seconds to go.
Indeed, the plans will go down. Oh, look at Dino. There it is. 45 seconds. We've reset the timer a little bit, and it's only up to Pat and Diesel now to try and secure this round. First headshot will start off. Diesel able to pick up that one, but then it's all up to Pat now. Onto that clash. Needs to swap over to the SPS SMG9 to get these kills. Pre-fire will get the first one. Now he's going to be using that shield to get the information on the second. There's still going to be 25 seconds left on the clock. It's plenty of time for him to work with. I wonder whether the diffuser is actually planted, whether or not he's going to be able to use that, but he didn't check the left. It is Knights to win the first round, as Dino will be able to pick up their last kill.
I get the feeling there that they didn't, or he at least didn't know in that case, and the call-out was missing, that supply was still closed. That wall was reinforced. Yes, there was a couple of Maverick holes in it in that case, but the expectation that he would have rotated into supply to then contest him on site was there. Quite simply, not to be the case. And rather than changing away from the site, we're going to see the Knights say, you know what, let's see how we can do it again. Heading downstairs once more, see if Wildcard can still hold on. Unfortunate there in terms of where he was looking, as mentioned. But for Knights, it's the start they dreamed of. A single round on attack on this map is not one to be shied away from. We spoke about earlier on, or at least in previous days, how this has been the most defender-sided map in the region.
And there is a reason why they pick attack for every single map they get the opportunity to pick.
Why is that then?
Probably they are very confident in their own attack, so I assume that
I never could have imagined that being the reason, Hap.
That's what I think.
I was expecting some real deep reason.
No,
you've done research,
no.
You've looked at the weather, you're going to tell us the precipitation.
No, I haven't actually looked at the weather this time.
What about the pollen count? Have you got that one for us at least?
I can find it if you need, but I mean I'm not on the analyst desk right now, so I'm doing a bit less analyzing for.
I love how after all that yesterday, all that chatter, they turned around and were like,
the weather.
It wasn't the weather, it was just the truck, and you were like, ah. So at least you gain some new knowledge. You know the weather tendencies in Pakistan.
Yeah, I know that, and I know that often the truck can also be the case of people, their internet and power not working. Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed? It just happened when a truck strikes into an internet line. That's the thing. Back down to the same side as mentioned, not too many changes to talk about in this case. In fact, barely any. Seeing that Kaid coming out for Ethan, trying to make sure that they can hold inside a freezer if required. Given that attack came down through the north side and now they know they're coming up against the clash, there may be a couple of changes to come in here from the attackers. You can mix things up a little bit. The issue I think you have when trying to take freezer or laundry is very commonly you need to take both if you're going to assault this site. You can't have everyone just single-mindedly charging into freezer or forcing their way down laundry. You need that split angle. That's why many teams tend to gravitate towards the north, because once you've got Big Tower, once you have your way inside a blue bunker, which Pat is once again holding out, it's much simpler then. It's not as complicated to take the site.
It definitely isn't. It's just that, you know, it's hard to get in here. It's hard to get the control of boiler, but as soon as you have it, it is going to be oh so valuable. As Gio, again, sitting behind the shield, ready to take the gunfight with Hayward yet again. As he's staying put with that 416 in hand.
Every time we say the name Gio, I just imagine our Gio.
Yeah,
just kind
Gio's
of sat at the
looking, what do you
computer,
mean?
staring like dead intently at the screen, like super focused on winning the round. It's a horrible mental image to carry throughout the whole series, I think, but we'll get there, I promise. Speaking of Gio, he was one of the new players that joined this team not too long ago, to be fair. He, I believe, joined across from Elevate, at the time known as Anixian 2.0. I think the day after he left, they were acquired by Elevate, so one of the newer players that stepped in and replaced Neophyter and Derpe just a few months ago. And what success Wildcard have had, dropping only one map in the entirety of the Six Masters, and that was to LFO, not either of the teams that we've seen so far in these playoffs, or at least at the Major.
Indeed, and that means Knights is up to a huge task.
We say Cinderella story, we mean it.
I mean, that's why we all voted for Wildcard as well. They said they preferred to be the underdog, so we're going to be trying to give them that, as it is going to be up to them now to make the upset happen. Or as my grammar would say, to do the upset.
To do the upset.
And get myself more.
Hashtag do the upset. There's one for you for Twitter. Christ. Beautiful. Well, we are down to 45 seconds and no one's died yet. Been much slower round than in the last one. There is a bit of a split focus coming on, though. We've seen ourselves inside of Electric a little bit quicker this time round. The same wall has been opened up once more in the north of Supply. Tried to find their way in a second ago, but currently running that into a bunch of ADSs, it sounds like. Finally, they'll get one through to the backside of Freezer, and you are seeing this split angle being set up here. This time around, they have one inside of Freezer looking to draw attention, and rightly so, because Pat is having to commit himself to laundry. The plant started going down once again, but they pull off for a fight, and Hayward's going to find himself two. Big start to this round. Geo trades it back in towards Juicy. Hayward finds a triple. Huge round to come up from him so far, but there are 10 seconds to go. C4 sings over, going to find one. Nice one from Emerin. Down goes Dino, as extinct as the dinosaurs themselves are. A 2 versus 2. Pat is on nothing. Now the plant's going down from Strider. Time's about to hit 0. No one left with him. That's going to be the end of this, surely. Just nothing, please.
I was going to say, please don't go for the reload, because that could end really badly. But Wildcard able to pick up the second round, even though it looked like the Pittsburgh Knights were about to set themselves up for a second one.
A little bit keen there, I'd say. That it can be a hard gun to control the recoil on. I appreciate it. Happens to the best of us. And when I say best of us, I also mean me. And I'm definitely not the best of us.
Happens to everybody, you mean, then?
Yeah. Bad times.
Well, 1-1. We are all drawn up in scoreline into the first map only. And we're going to Kid Storms.
It's all from Emerin then as well, wasn't it? 4K at the end, I think, with those final 2 kills?
I think it was indeed, yeah.
That's after Hayward finds a triple kill. So you kind of stand there as the player on Knights in that case, and you just go, guys, what more can I do? They've got a clutch god on their side who can one-up me. How do we contest? How do we stack up against that?
Get the Uno reverse guard in there.
Attackers need to locate.
You know, I've never actually played Uno.
You never played Uno?
No. There's a lot of hard truths coming out from the team this week, I think. Me and Gio haven't seen Jurassic Park, and that was like a massive fallacy. Now I haven't played Uno.
Don't know if I can finish this cast, but...
There's something surely about you that everyone should know that is, well, I don't know. We have a lot of reasons to rip on you already. Maybe we don't need more.
I've been ripped on quite a bit.
Like your weather predictions.
Yeah, no
Just
worries.
so, like I said yesterday, if you step onto a desk or someone interviews you and you say, yes, I did a lot of detailed research for this game, and therefore I know how things are going to play out. Also, what did you do? What was your intense study that led to this outcome? I looked at a weather forecast. Somehow
was I
I don't think
right?
that flies.
Was that right?
Correlation doesn't equal causation.
No.
Okay?
Yeah, I get that. That's what I learned in statistics classes.
This is interesting. Trying to go for a downstairs hold. Got the walls reinforced inside a kitchen here. A couple of mute jammers committed down as well. We've seen teams do this in the Nordic, actually. I believe it was Godsend Trico, the player that I remember, playing on the mute, sat down here below the hatch and tossing a C4 up, through the hatch above his head to catch the planter as they were trying to plant inside of B. So I'm keen to see if that's where the focus comes in again, and equally if the attackers identify this and put focus in towards planting in game instead.
Well, often though, game is that preferred bomb side by many
The default,
teams.
yeah.
It's the
Because it's
default.
safe, right? You're surrounded, you're encased in concrete,
Yeah.
like it's hard to kill you.
It's like the first place you're trying to take control from as well. Like you have a direct wall that leads into it. You just open up, and if you have attic control, there's almost no one that can peek you there. We're now trying, talking about attic, to gain that control. Juicy will be opening it up with the big sledgehammer.
Smashy, smashy.
Smashing it all up. Giving himself an opportunity to walk in, as right now the X-Car is going off as well.
Nice and quick as well, actually. Inside about 60 seconds, we're getting the... Oh, there you go. So getting the wardrobe opened up, but that infamous impact trick that we've seen so many times, you can chuck one at the bottom basically just like this and destroy it. Does he get the second set? No, he doesn't. He gets the first, but they are a little bit high, and so's that last set of X-Kairos, and he kills the Hibana. That's all gone horrifically wrong for Dino. Emerin, fantastic play at the start to catch 2 sets of X-Kairos, half destroy the third, and leave them in a comfortable position. The one thing they've got to be fearful of is the fact that it being ever so slightly open means they can still cover from inside a wardrobe if a plant can come into game. But to do that, you've got to get through Trophy, you've got to get down across Dorms itself, and then into game. Normally where Strider's drone is right now, you would see someone sat on a shotgun just holding the doorway coming in from Trophy. And that can make it really hard to do anything on this site. But no one's playing there right now because, as you can see, 2 C4 wielders, Ethan and Pat, both playing down below the sites.
The both below, and with 60 seconds left there, C4s grow ever so more valuable with every second that passes, because if a plant attempt comes true, we're surely going to be able to get that information fed down to one of these players as Juicy picks up the first one, the last very bullet of his magazine, able to pick up Geo. Smoke canisters will be used, so Diesel's going to be able to get himself into a position to try and retake that position. Get control again of Kid Storms with these last 30 seconds. And keep in mind, still those 2 C4s below, but there comes the SMG-11. We'll be able to pick up one. Pat with the shotgun to follow up. And it's all up to Strider and Josh right now to try and still salvage this round. And they're trying to go for some pre-fires with these 20 seconds. It surely will not end well for them. But he did manage to come through. But there is going to be that C4 from below. The first one to go off. And there's still yet another one they need to worry about. The diffuser is dropped inside. 10 seconds left. Wildcard is going to be able to pick up this round.
Didn't expect another one downstairs, and oof. That was rough, because even when you step into game, there is an evil eye on the wall, there's a C4 player downstairs, you've got the Maestro holding on white. There were 3 things in that situation that would lead to your untimely death if you even tried to plant. And part of this, I think, came down to the angle of attack coming out of the Knights. A big focus in towards Attic and Trophy. Totally fine if you're assaulting into a normal defense where everyone is playing upstairs. But because there were reinforcements downstairs, mute jammers, 2 C4 wielders, the focus really should have been on trying to unsettle them first, because either you execute into the top floor at the same time that you do downstairs so they can't turn their C4 skyward, or you clear them out as a team to begin with. And that was the crucial mistake there. Maybe a bit of misdroning coming out of Knights, maybe an uncertainty on what it was they were facing and how to deal with it.
Well, we're going to see the Clash going back to the lineup as it's being 6th picked in. We're going to kitchen dining, everybody. And that means that that's the cherry bomb site from Wildcard we get to see. It's not going to be the meeting hall, as some might prefer. But I understand that if you're bringing the Clash. I'm just wondering where it will be played. Like, it would be crazy to see it played in showers.
I imagine either showers or to the north. Yeah, in the door to the north as well, looking to hold in towards Small Tower itself. Who's observing this, by the way? Do we know?
This is easy.
It's easy. My boy. I tell you what, me and him are just destined to be together. I think every game I've cast, he has been the observer. I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's...
I'm just thinking, did I have him every single round as well? I don't think I did.
10 seconds remaining.
I can't imagine so. There wouldn't have been a universe in which we both get easy all the time.
Unless Maddox wasn't here.
Unless he kills Medics in his sleep, maybe then, yeah.
Maddox is sleeping. Talking about sleep.
John.
Anyway. Hammerin putting up these evil eyes. Going to be giving them some extra information in case they do breach towards the A-boom site.
They've got some real good sightlines down here, and if you recall, actually, the other day in one of the games that we covered, I believe it was this region, it may have been one of the other 2 majors, we had a spot where a team was trying to assault through Small Tower, and in fact, no, it wasn't. It was Xavier in their game on Monday, I want to say, on Tuesday, I think it was, when they didn't have any drones. Fav this was, watching in towards Shower Corridor. Very simply, all he had to do was run up Shower Corridor, kill 3 people in Tower, and the round was over. So it's so critical here. Giants have at least... Giants? Knights? Maybe not quite as big as a Giant, but maybe as impactful as one. They need to make sure they've got some kind of vision on what's going on down this corridor, lest someone rotates down and just slaughters them where they stand and ends the round in a flash.
Now, indeed, playing here inside of the showers. It's going to be that one Vulcan shield up to the hallway in the left of the Clash's position. Maestro playing right behind it with the big Alda. Surely going to be trying to hold that off together. Have to be careful, though, as there is the breaching charge to blow it all up and put the fire up. Second one to be used to take out the default cam and the evil eye. That is going to be Wildcard. A lot of utility of theirs gone. As right now, surely they will be trying to put some extra pressure onto the showers.
Need to be careful of the drone usage here as well. Losing a couple so far and trying to find out where Emmerin is holding, and they know, and Hayward knows where Pat's playing too. That's the Clash removed from inside of showers, and it's huge that they've got this room so easily here. Kind of surprised there wasn't more backing coming through to support him, but I guess the ever-present fear of we don't know what's coming down shower corridor means that you have to stay back. Hayward finds a second one through the window by the looks of it, and this puts them off to a great start. Swings round, but what a flick coming out of Emmerin there. Nothing to be found in response. Dino's down, so it's into a 3 versus 3, despite the fantastic start that Knights have had.
He cancelled the reload. He wanted to go for the peek on the Maestro, but he cancelled the reload, and Emmerin used his last bullet to kill the guy there. Now we'll be swapping over to Hayward, getting that kill up as well, and suddenly it's going to be Knights that find themselves in a very disadvantageous position. They have one member down. It's going to be Dino that needs to be recovered, and will be so now as well. Leaves us in a 3-on-3 with 40 seconds left, and they unfortunately lost 2 players. But look at that, they still have the opportunity to just cut straight into the A-bomb side because they have this control of the hallway. They could go for a plant potentially, especially if you pick up Diesel like that. The plant's going down, but it's not going to be covered. Emmerin will be able to pick up yet another kill. Who's going aggressive right now, knows that the plant's going down. He's not going to be able to cancel it yet. And that means Gio needs to come and help.
Gotta consider the fact that Emerin is on 9 kills inside this 4th round as it stands. What a game he's been having so far. Can he do enough in this round? Apparently the answer is yes. A quadra kill steps in, 1 more for himself and he'll complete the ace, but it's still a post-plant situation. Josh with it all to do here against 2 low health enemies. Time is on his side, but has got to be so careful about these angles being held here. They're still not sure where he is. Gonna go for the double peek here. 1 through showers, 1 through north door. It's an impossible task, but he flicks round and wins it. The slightest of missed timings gives Josh the opening he needs and takes the round for Knights.
Maestro got stuck inside of the rotation there, and that's why he wasn't going to be able to get the kill. And that means that the Knights will be able to pick up that round. But it was oh so close right there. Not sure if he would have even had enough time to actually run back to get the defuse down, considering his 1 speed, but he was so close. Emerin almost able to finish off and get that ace with the Maestro. But 2-2 is the scoreline now, and the Pittsburgh Knights, with 2 attacking rounds, will be feeling very happy about this with still 2 to play.
I'll bring up one of the favourite things I've been saying this week. Rounds aren't won on ace. Well, they are won on aces, obviously, but every single round of Siege isn't won in the same way. It's not a decisive victory most of the time to either side. It comes down to small things, and in this case, it's an opening not quite being large enough for Maestro to fit his big booty through. Can't find the second kill, or at least the final kill to get the defuse out. 2-2 thinks it out. I'd say this has been a good half for Knights so far. Stepping in and finding 2 out of 4. I'd say that's okay. I wouldn't be too upset right now if I was Coach Picnic. That is his name. I'm not just saying Picnic out of the blue, by the way.
I understood.
Thank you. I thought you were going to look at me and be like,
no,
Coach
no,
Picnic, what?
No, I wasn't gonna be making that. Anyway, if they manage to get 1 or 2 more rounds, even Knights, they're going to be having themselves a really good treat here.
I think they've had a couple of drones disappear.
Have they?
Yeah, look at the middle of the screen.
Oh. Well,
unlucky boys. Into game we go. Big change this round for me, Pat being on the castle. Probably screams there's going to be some form of vertical hole, which so far looks like it is. I remember I think it was Reaper who theorized that you might see an SSG-esque roam coming through on a site like this, and we have seen teams attempt it. Normally where you castle up both of the doors leading in from split. In this case, they've got the big double door coming in. 1 leading down here. Oh, Easy knows the game already. I've already set him off playing it. It's called an observer mini game. You got to find the 3rd one now. There we go, up on green corridor. So they are trying to hold meeting. They're trying to hold kitchen and just saying, please don't come and knock us out of here. It's not quite the full 3-floor roam, I don't think, because attic can be very, very tough to hold when you're so spread across 3 different sites. And that's exactly why they've reinforced and electrified that hatch. But by playing across these 2 floors, it leads to a 2-stage assault. So rather than the 3 push into construction that you normally see and the take into big tower, you've now got to put quite a bit of focus on removing Pat from upstairs. Otherwise, you cannot play inside of electric to the north.
It's going to be quite some time that might be wasted, but otherwise Knights might just say that, you know, what's the best way to counter an SSG roam, Des? You just straight go to the site. You just go to the site. You find out where the weaknesses are. And look at that. It's completely empty. No one in sight. And the drones are there to confirm it now. The plant will be going down, surely, as Strider makes his way in. And there we go.
Oh, boys.
7 seconds. No one has an idea.
They don't know.
Emerin is on the back stairs. They don't know. 45 seconds, and everybody has to haul back to the side.
Oh, man, boys. You can big brain it all you like, but when you have no one on site, no cameras, no intel, no indication of what's coming in, it is going to bite you hard. And Knights have managed to storm their way into sight, find 2 kills. 1 is traded back by Geo, but now rushing down Laundry. Nothing to be found, and they're running in like lambs to the slaughter, it feels like, Hap. 20 seconds to go. 2 remaining in a 4 versus 2. Make it a 4 versus 1. Knights have been given an absolute freebie here. They put some money in the machine. They got 2 bags of crisps out. What a dream round for them. 5 rounds in, they are sat at 3-2. If this ended here, I would be ecstatic.
It's the perfect way to counter any of these kind of plays, right? You find out how many people are on site, you make the call, and you just go for that rush. That's all they had to do. That's all they did.
It's curious because even in something like the SSG roam on Clubhouse, you play across all 3 floors, but you still have members present on every floor. You have 2 on the top floor, 1 playing on the ground floor, and 2 looking to play downstairs. In that spot, no one is playing on site. Everyone is upstairs on that ground floor.
All right. 3-2. Going to be having that, well, surely we're not going to have that kind of plant or play again coming down from Wildcard, or otherwise they're going to be able to adapt to it. No, we're going to the top floor, Des. We will be, you know, having a a little bit of a different kind of playstyle. They were surely surprised by that rush to come through, the plan to go down within 20, 30 seconds, and suddenly finding themselves becoming the attackers themselves, trying to attack, but with 45 seconds instead of 3 minutes.
Wildcard has taken this 3-1 and that's it. Send tweet. Sticula's got a lot of airtime on broadcast these last couple of days. My man, you're hogging the airwaves. Give someone else a chance.
He's having these hot takes, you know, because I mean, if you see Knights play like this, I'm not too sure if this is going to be a 3-1 for Wildcard.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I mean, they could have stepped into this game and tried to play the way that Wildcard might. They'd opt to start on their preferential sides. They'd opt to play things, air quotes, normally. And I'd say so far the game hasn't been too far out of expectation, but they've definitely shown up in ways that maybe we wouldn't have expected. You would have thought Wildcard, given their history again, dropping only a single map, would have been able to take it. And interestingly, these guys have played 4 maps against each other, 2 in playoffs and 2 in the regular season. Wildcard have won every single one. But I always say there are 2 halves to a game of Siege. Maybe between these 2, Oregon is a bit of a different affair. It's not as defender-leaning as it is elsewhere.
Definitely is in the Knights. Well, even though they lost their one player right now, Josh gone, 3-5 for him. Still not over. They still have an opportunity to make this 4-2, and if this goes the way of 4-2, if this goes the way tonight, it's definitely going to be a hard battle for Wildcard to try and get back into it. As a mute jammer will be blocking the X-Cars from detonating.
There's just a global mute jammer on the go right now.
Yeah.
That's basically the way it works. Nothing's going to work, guys, no matter what you might try and do. Either way, still 2 minutes to go, and yes, although Josh has gone down early on, we've still seen some late round rallies coming out of Knights that have ultimately led to them finding themselves with 3 rounds on the board to date. A good bit of drone work into unmuted territory will reveal 2 are playing out towards the west side of these sites. Very standard, nothing out of the ordinary there. Looks like Hayward fancies his chances at trying to find a free prize, a freebie as we call it in some cases, to the one playing inside of Kids. Nothing to be found initially, but sometimes it's the presence that counts. It's the fear that someone might be at that double window at any moment that forces these players to be a little bit more cautious in what angles they're holding, how freely they can play. And as well as the fire, it's part of the reason why you're going to see Geo holding deep back inside of the site.
That's why often, if you are playing on like a floor with destructible surface, you often see the attack opening as many angles as they possibly can. Grenade coming in, we'll be getting the down onto Emerin, and it's going to be only up to Dino now, or Dino getting that kill. Bring it back to a 4-on-4 situation, but Dino's going to be able to get a food shot out underneath, the other way around, and it's going to be straight with a double kill to come in, a triple kill even, and they're forcing themselves through. The plant will come down yet again. There's no C4 left on Pat. He won't be able to pick up one, but not more than that. Knights are taking the half with 4-2. That's a big advantage on a map like Oregon.
What amazed me the most there was a good few gunfights took place that Wildcard you would wager should have won. A few players left on 2 or 3 HP. I believe the Maverick was on about 20. That looked like they should have had the critical kills coming through there. Potentially 3 to close the round out in their favor, but unfortunately not quite able to complete the kills. And Knights, as you say, end the half at 4-2 on the attack. That's a result if ever I've seen one. Are we going to see yet another upset? Are the Pittsburgh Knights the upset kings of the region?
It will be so good to see, and so deserved as well for all the work they have put in. No one expected them to be able to just take the region here. As you said before, many said that it's maybe a bit undeserved for them to be here in the way that things worked out. But
I'd say unexpected.
Unexpected, yeah. But like, they're definitely making their their spot worth it, and they're getting the best out of it so far. They're absolutely deserving of the stage they're on right now. To put up the fight here to Wildcard, showing that since Fnatic left, it's not just them in the region. There's also Okami and Knights here to make it hard.
I was just about to say, I swear if that was Stickler again, then someone's having me on a little bit, I think. But I think we're okay in this case. It's okay. Stickler's on his cooldown timer. He's not allowed back for a while. At least one more map production. That's the rule.
Is the gaming dead? Like logo. Anyway.
Upstairs hold.
Indeed.
Kids gonna be where we start out the first half. We'll see if anything wild comes out here. Nothing too crazy coming out in the picks for either side, to be completely honest. It's pretty standard and atypical. That last round we saw a second ago in round 6 was a more, I'd say still standard take coming out of Knights. They didn't change anything magical compared to the previous time, except for Hayward putting a little bit of pressure on Big Window. The big difference was that Wildcard and the defense were playing things quite air quotes normally. They weren't playing this vertical hold, much like you're now seeing coming out of the Knights. So Wildcard, having played this exact setup themselves, should know how to respond to this. They should know they've got to get someone downstairs and force the mute away from kitchen, away from security, so they aren't going to get C4'd when it comes to running into the site. Or at least have a couple of drones down there, so you have some idea on where these defenders are playing.
Talking about drones, trying to get the information in that they need to get their execute started, or at least get that control inside the building. As Wildcard is worrying. They also know they're 2 rounds behind. I still need to, you know, play full half on the attack, actually, as Strider will be able to put a little bit of damage down into Ethan, but nothing much. It's going to be basically still a 5-on-5, as nothing happened.
Nothing just yet. Peacetime. Peace in our time. The opening 60 seconds is the war of the drones, war of the machines, and then the people get involved.
Could you say it's Mute Tower, war of the machines?
I guess.
That would be so
Imagine
so
if that made
chaotic.
its way into comp. Imagine how crazy it would be.
Oh my god, I do not want to have that. That's going to be way too chaotic for me to keep up with my brain, as it is going to be still a 4-on-2 situation. A bit of damage done on either side, and there's going to be 80 seconds left. Surely the execute should be coming through soon, as now the X-Kairos will be detonating finally onto, actually Impact Trick yet again.
Has he opened the bottom already?
Bottom is already opened up, but that's
Okay.
okay. If there's another impact available, they're not going to be able to breach through it. No, it's actually going to be opening up there, so they're going to have that little bit of a breach available, but Strider's going aggressive. Will be able to put some damage down into Pat, but not eventually getting that kill. And that leaves us with 60 seconds. Still no frag on either side, and as I say, the Strider picks up the first.
That dude has got gonads the size of bowling balls to try and peek into trophy doorway like that. You have no idea who is holding what angle unless you've got visibility straight through. And clearly they thought, you know what, we can swing on this. It's not a problem. But clearly it is a problem. 4 versus 4. The Maestro's down. That means those Evil Eyes shall move no more. Stationary. They will remain for the rest of this round, and no Evil Eyes to come zapping those drones out of spot either. We are in a 4 versus 4. There's 30 seconds on the clock, and you know what that means, Hap? It's time for a bloodbath.
It's time for a bloodbath indeed, and if I'm looking at it, I don't think they're actually going to be able to walk through the breach, especially if your diffuser gets killed from below. Dino playing there, tossing up the C4. They won't be able to get yet another one. It's an easy kill, I should say. It's going to be up to the Ash right now of Ethan into the main window, and Geo playing in Attic. They're in a 2-on-4 situation with only 10 seconds left. They managed to bring it to a 1-on-2 situation in favor of Wildcard somehow, but it's only up to Josh now. Josh is below. They're not going to be able to find him. C4 is being prepped, but they do not have the diffuser. There is no time. They're going to be able to win the round unless Josh goes. Oh my God! No, he does! Geo wins it because Josh didn't know that the diffuser was dropped. No information.
Surely. Oh, that's got to be so painful. I think he was
Yes.
preparing in that place to think, okay, diffuser's going down. I've got to run towards white and go for the fight. Not staying stationary long enough. Gets himself tagged out on the entry, out of security. Unfortunate. Maybe another half a second later, he would have heard him coming in and able to respond with a shotgun. But a massive clutch end to that round from Geo to make sure this doesn't go to 5-2 and inch us even closer towards that match point. What a shocker it would be. Oregon first map. Knights starting on attack, taking things away. That would have been unbelievable, but at least Wildcard give themselves another lifeline, a little bit of a breather here. Still a few more rounds to go if we're going to see Knights take this map away.
It was one of these impossible rounds to lose for Knights.
We've seen a few of those lately.
We've seen a few of those lately, but they still managed to let it get turned around by Wildcard. Put themselves into these fragging positions, got them 1 by 1. And it basically completes the story as Josh wasn't more passive enough as well.
I love these big rounds we keep on seeing. It was round 12 the other day on Cafe, if I recall, when there was literally 5 seconds left on the clock. It was a 3 versus 3. The diffuser was down outside a reinforced white corridor wall or freezer wall. Zips his way up white stairs, drops down. This is Dino, by the way. Drops down through the fireplace hatch, kills the member holding him, goes for a plant. Timer's at 0. You think surely they lose. There's a Maestro sat just on the other side of Coffee. He steps up and starts spraying, then gets tagged by someone from double door. It was one of the craziest endings to a round I think I've ever seen. And it always seems to be Oceania that brings up those goods, just like in that last round.
Indeed.
I love it.
I love it. It's great siege. It gets the heart and the heart beating and the blood flowing.
It's going to mean I lose my voice tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah,
We've got 5 maps of this
there.
potentially to go through.
Oh man, gonna be up for a lot of shouting here if rounds keep on ending like that. But 4-3, we're back downstairs. It's gonna be Wildcard to go for a top-down clear. It looks like as the Knights are not putting up a similar kind of roaming or SSG setup as we saw Wildcard do. They're not giving any space. They're staying put, they're staying turtle on the site. And Wildcard is going to be spending the first 90 seconds, if not more, clearing out top and first floor.
We've got to make sure we don't start calling it the SSG roam.
Yeah.
I think Lycan is a lovely guy, but I'm sure he'll take far too much pride in having 2 strats named after him. He'll be like, well, yes, I made these.
Not even for Oregon, but that's okay. Like, it's an adaptation to it. Next camera's on the hatch. Josh falling back. Some pressure being put down now.
Yeah, no electrification of those hatches. The kite is available. We saw it being used earlier on by Wildcard on their defense, but just saying, look, these hatches are going to get open whether we like it or not because a Maverick is available. So why bother? Give it over to them, and we'll worry more about actually holding on the site itself. I believe it was Juicy on the mute earlier on who was holding. No, it wasn't Juicy. Who was it? It was someone on the other side from Wildcard, sorry, holding against Laundry Doorway. I think it was Juicy who ran headfirst into him on the sledge, where that confusion came from. So I like that at least we've got a similar setup coming here with Dino looking to play aggressive and saying if you do want to come through Laundry, you're going to have to get past Mr. Shotty first.
I wonder if someone is now occupying the shield and elbow. Yes, it is indeed. It's going to be Juicy that is playing out there. Having that M59 shotgun available, the more you believe in it, the more effective it will be. But also the SMG-11 capable of getting a quick 17-round burst into either of these players' bodies as Pat and Geo close. That's dying 50 seconds. Where's the rest of the team?
Some teams have almost really whiffed this setup up a few times, by the way. If you haven't got a Goyo shield there or a smoke there, you run the risk of when you back away through into supply and reinforce the wall that someone can just blitz their way down that elbow and kill you as you're reinforcing the wall. So at least here they've got the option with the smoke of being able to just say, right, drop a smoke and get the hell back. Juicy looking to go pretty aggressive here, finds Pat running in. Freest kill of his life he's ever going to find there as he wasn't even looking in the right direction. A second one comes out and this is one hell of a stall coming out of Juicy. We're down to 20 seconds and they haven't even got their way inside Blue Bunker yet.
They haven't indeed, and there's going to be a shield they have to deal with. A grenade will be cooked. Might be eaten by the ADS. No, it's not. It's actually going to be Juicy that still manages to survive. It's Hayward, Dino, and Hayward again to get the kills down. It's a flawless round from Knights. And that is going to be putting them up to 5-3. Even though we might have argued it could be 6-2 already. And it shows that Pittsburgh Knights are, well, super comfortable on their attacks, but also that defenses seem to be super effective.
I remember talking to Picnic, actually, and having a conversation with him and saying, you know, where do you see yourselves sat in this region? Because many people you speak to will turn around and say, oh, you know, we consider ourselves really good, like we feel like quite confident we can win this. But he turned around and said, you know, we probably are what many would call the least experienced team in the region. We're considered aggressive, probably without really any strats behind them. They lack the kind of complexity that larger teams like Wildcard will have. But all that I've seen the last couple of days is very, very smart planning, very excellent play coming into the maps themselves, and it's stacking up here against Wildcard on their map pick.
It's definitely stacking up strong. I like the 6-pick from the Clash to the Valkyrie. Just getting that extra information in, getting these black eyes in position. And if you look at that, there's no IQ on the likes of Wildcard. And if we look at it even closer, there's not been much adaptation to the lineup that Wildcard brings. It's basically the same 5 operators we've had for a while now. And that allows Knights to do these kind of things.
It's a hard one, right? Because often on maps like this, you do need the lineup that you're seeing here. You're seeing the Maverick and the Habana, of course, for the hard breach. You then see the 2 soft destructors, as we sometimes call them, the Zofia and the Ash, the ranged destroyer of Evil Eyes, of shields, things that don't put you at great risk to get close. And then something like Emerin on the sledge, you often need to bring because you want yourself a couple of sets of frags, or for the soft destruction when you are trying to attack onto the sites that are below. Only really very good, in my opinion, though, for something like the dining sites or dining and kitchen or meeting and kitchen, because downstairs in the basement has no soft flooring. There is nothing you can do down there to destroy floor above it except for the hatches. And of course, when you're attacking upstairs, sledge isn't really the most useful unless you bring a shotgun.
Sledge
or grenades from below, they work fine as well.
They work fine as well. I was going to say sledge shotgun. Where have we seen that before? But that's, of course, an 8-back north. Might get ourselves
sledge shotgun
tomorrow.
Pick an operator. Insert name here. Shotgun. If you're looking at Xavier, coastline especially.
Not just that, you know, the 612 SDs. It's been a while since I saw that shotgun. They bring it as well. On
the Silence Legion shotgun in Pokemon Cafe. Infamous, no doubt.
Oh well. Breach attempt right here into Attic. Here we're trying to hold it off. Having bullet holes here as well, but he has to be careful because if a drone spots him out, due to these walls being soft, it might result in him being picked up, as right now he's finding himself between, well, stuck between a rock and a hard place, so really open to 2 of these angles. 100 seconds on the clock, will be able to rotate out without anybody actually putting any pressure down. Really confusing to see that no one on either master bedroom or on the attic was putting pressure down on him there.
Once again, it's a very standard, atypical setup for this site. You've got Strider holding in a spot where he's trying to play around the impacts, but got to be very mindful of the fact that grenades are singing his way. Doesn't want to step back here because he exposed himself potentially to the angle. He's going to try and go for it, I think. Just about landed that one, and of course the problem with the open bottom now being opened up is you can just impact underneath, not a problem. Should be another set to come, but there's still an impact nade left on side. Somewhat worried, or I guess maybe more in a rush from the Habana, if nothing else, to get at least one block of that wall open. But that now makes this job so easy for Strider. Throw it at the floor, and as Skyros will die, and there's only one set left.
Indeed, and it's going to be forcing Diesel to use that last set of Excaras there as well, because there's no way you want to go for a peak like that. And there we go, it's being deployed. Strider going to be able to put up yet another set of Excaros, and that means it's going to be really hard for Wildcard now to use that little bit of an opening they have, because you have to go for a prone peak, you have to look up whilst you do it, and Strider knows exactly where you're going to be coming from. And as you go prone, your arms will come out first. He's going to be able to pre-fire you, and with the Alda he has, that's not an issue with the 80 bullets in the mag.
Not a problem at all, but my biggest worry here is that they've got 2 players downstairs playing with those C4 still that the Wildcard need to worry about on the attack. Down to 20 seconds, they're just about to force their way in through Trophy, and here we go. Not being brought down just yet, but Dino's going to find one, potentially a second onto Geo. Diesel will trade it back, so it's not the end of the world for them, but lights are almost out. It's a 4 versus 2. Second one does come in as Diesel pulls off what you would say is the impossible, running through the middle of the sights, but a flurry of kills in the blue, for the Blues, I should say, on the kill feed, means that's another round going to the way of Knights.
Knights definitely setting themselves up right here to be the new #1 in the region. It's early to say, but they're about to take map #1. It's 6-3. It could have been already over, but it was Wildcard back like 3 rounds ago with an amazing last couple of seconds. Able to get in these last couple of kills as well.
You know what this is like? There's some kind of fairy tale story behind this, or maybe something from like medieval England, where Fnatic, the old king, has now departed. He's been exiled. He's gone abroad somewhere.
Is it a War of Roses?
If you want, not really, probably. I guess actually, yeah, okay,
Everybody,
fair, I'll take that.
Like everybody,
but there's a story.
Okay, yeah.
You've heard some fancy words from the UK here and think, hey, it's like that story. Not quite. But basically, Wildcard have now been the replacement. It's like Game of Thrones. They're Joffrey right now. They've been put in a place, and no one likes them as the king. These guys are stepping up as the Knights and saying, you know what? It's time for him to go. They're stepping up. They're challenging. They're usurping the existing rulers in this case. And although their tenure has been short-lived, it is definitely being challenged. They're rallying the men right now and saying, look, it's time to charge. It's time to put a new king in place. And my God, if they can do it here, I've already spoke about the Cinderella story, it would make for a great drama series.
I might be wrong here, but isn't Game of Thrones actually pulled back from the War of Roses?
How about Ravens apologizing? I'm hoping for a full 5-map series. Sorry, casters. I ain't sorry.
No, I'm not sorry as well.
Sorry to the casters' voices is probably better, but we're all in for a 5-map series. It's what you want to see. No one likes to see a 3-0 stomp. No one likes to see a series that goes one-sided and never really changes. This one, I'm hoping, is back and forth as hell. The next map that we step into, just as a reminder, is going to be Consulate. That one was picked out by Wildcard, and naturally, as we said, Pittsburgh Knights, I keep saying Pittsburgh, it kills me. They're starting out on the attack. Every single map we have in this series, you are going to see the Knights on attack. And that's one for the record books, I think. It's crazy. We don't yet know about the 5th map, to be fair. If it does go all the way to Villa, we'll find out closer to the time which team starts where. I believe that comes down to a coin toss or a coin flip to determine who gets the choice.
Well, as Wildcard prefers to have the defense, Knights prefers to have the attack. I don't think it will change much either. But well, it looks like Wildcard looking to take control of the showers here. Juicy, however, trying to stop that. Watching outside of the window, seeing a beautiful yellow school bus. Wreckage.
A wreckage. I wonder how that got there.
Yeah.
Why would you park a school bus in a place like this?
I mean,
is it a day outing, a day trip to Oregon?
I know that people in, for example, the Netherlands, probably in the UK as well, they just steal signs, road signs off the board. Maybe.
See, we have a tendency, especially at university, to take traffic cones. It becomes like the pride of your house. If you're on a night out at university, you come back home, wearing it on your head the whole way and plant it in your living room.
Maybe they steal school buses here.
It's a bit dramatic, isn't it? Where'd you get the keys from?
You don't need keys. You can just hotwire it. No need.
It's not really the ideal place to drive to, is it? Look at it.
It definitely does not seem like an ideal place to drive through. But anyway, 6-3. It might be the final round of this first map. It's Knights that have to land this one. It was going to be Emo in to pick up the first one onto Juicy. From a very long angle, actually. All the way up the stairs, yeah.
Naughty. Was that through shower door?
Through the breach and shower door, but it's going to be Dino to respond. He's going to be going for yet another one. Swaps over to the shotgun. It's going to be down onto Geo, so he's not going to be able to do anything. It will be finished off by Dino. It's a triple kill from him to come down. It's only up to Pat and Diesel now. 1 minute, 60 seconds, that is, for them to try and close this out. It's plenty of time, and we have seen them pull out these kind of situations before, Des.
I'm living for it. 4 versus 2. We've seen a couple of these, and even as you say, Wildcard in a couple of places have managed to win these rounds out still. Diesel gets himself into a fight, as Pat does. Diesel's ends without conflict or without trade, but Pat's ends with a bullet hole in the head of Dino. Diesel finds one onto Strider. 2 versus 2. They're doing it out. Once again, Wildcard are quite literally the wildcard here, turning things back around. No one knows what to expect. It's all down to Hayward and Josh to hold this one out if they want to see it all the way through.
This is the one issue that Knights have been stumbling upon right here. And look at the health indeed. Pat and Diesel are so low. They should be able to be taken down by literally everything. I believe a flank is coming down from the likes of Hayward as he is. No, he's actually still stuck inside the shower, but he might be able to go for a peek here as he's being covered off. Is he going to be able to get that kill? So will land, but that means it's a one-on-one situation now. 2 seconds left. He is prone. Is it being expected? Yes, it is, but the kill doesn't go down. It's Knights to go for the first map. It's part of the upset that we see develop right now. Are they going to be able to keep this up, or is Wildcard going to be able to strike back?
Whew, I love these rounds that come down to the dying seconds like that. It comes down to a rush, it comes down to a real brawl in the dying seconds, and the miraculous C4 savior. I had 3 or 4 rounds in that game that you could have said would have gone either way, and look at Dino at the top. 15 kills on a smoke, nonetheless.